Hey guys, welcome to my live stream. Welcome to my cactus live stream. Also vegetables. I have the chili back here with me. Little chili that needs water. Check out how it's drooping the leaf. So we will water that today. In addition, I dropped the seedlings. I dropped 2 containers of seedlings that we need to replant. I have them here today. Yeah, and a lot of seedlings that need water. I brought the fruit that needs, where I want to see if we can harvest some seeds, that kind of stuff. So yeah, just getting started. Hey, good morning. Let me just uncheck the automatic translator of that thing. Okay, great to see you. Hope you're all right. I was running a little bit behind. Kami has been needing a little bit more care this morning. So yeah, everything kind of there was always something, but now I brought a lot of different stuff today, so it will be an interesting live stream again. And great to be back. Great to see you. Hope everything's all right. Yeah. Whew, let's get started. Yeah, I just wanted to say I got a lot of orders, like after my video that I posted to promote my books. I rarely promote my books, and yeah, but in this case, I'm selling the last remaining copies of the first one. I only have a few boxes left, and yeah, so now that allowed me to buy a few things. Earlier this morning, I bought 40 different pots with 17 centimeter diameter. Yeah, some of the bigger ones for the chili, for example, to repot them. I bought sowing soil, and I will buy a few more things that are urgently needed for the live stream and for the channel, for the season, for the cactus season. So yeah, and in the next days we will pack the books on the live stream. Also, I need to do that. I will get the cactus books that I wanna. Some of them have asked for personal signature, that kind of stuff, and we will do that on the live stream. Okay, I would say I will get the fruit that I have here, the passion fruit that I have had in the live stream a few times now. I think we will open it up now, because that thing looks a little bit, wrinkled. I believe this should be ripe. I often, like with cactus fruits, I always press against the fruit. That is usually my go-to method. Just touching the fruit, feeling if it's very firm. Because if a fruit is firm, the likelihood that the seeds inside are not ripe is getting bigger. Yeah, and in this case, I feel like we will open it up now, okay? Because I would really love to sow them out. I have brought me a fruit knife here, just cleaning up a little beforehand. Every time I'm preparing the live stream, it's a pretty dirty thing, and I don't want to have these right in the dirt again. So let me just, before I do that, clean up a little bit here. Nice to have a clean workplace. Okay, so I would propose I will part that thing into 2, and we will have a look at the seeds. The skin is very firm, almost like leather. Ooh, what's that? Oh, come on. I didn't expect that. What's that? But it smells nice. I've never eaten one of those. Check it out. It looks weird. It really looks weird. I just want to have the seeds, man. Just the seeds. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do with that. Of course, this looks pretty far along. This doesn't look like the right stage to eat it. Maybe, I'm not sure. Oh, I will put this aside. But the important thing is that there are a lot of seeds in it, and we will sow them out. Check it out. Here's one. Here's one seed that came out. Little blackish kind of seed inside. Looks a little bit like melon seeds. I'm just trying to feel if the seed is developed or not, but it feels okay. So we will clean them. Check it out. This is the seed after I've tried to get rid of some of the pulp here that was surrounding it. But yeah, we will sow them out. This will be great. I expect that we will have some sort of a vine, some kind of a creeping kind of plant, but which body this will have, we will see. I haven't seen it before. Yeah. So at this point, I think I will let all of that fruit stuff there run through a sieve just to clean it. I really don't have like a lot of like passion to eat it. You know, I don't want to. This doesn't really look like something that I would want to eat. But yeah, the seeds could be great. So I will put that thing in the sieve and clean the seeds. Hey Robert, good morning. I've just opened up the passion fruit, passiflora. Yeah, check it out. I think they are ripe. Hey mate, welcome to the live stream, and everyone else, great to have you. Great to see you. Yeah, this thing has started to become more mushy every day, so I wanted to open it up. Okay. Yeah, interesting. It reminds me of like that, like when you buy juice, when you buy these mixed juices, fruit juice, and this is the kind of taste that you sometimes have when there are many different mixed in one. This could be great. I'm looking forward to growing them. I'm not that into fruit actually. I like them from time to time, but somehow everything tastes sour to me. Like everything like that kind of fruit stuff tastes so sour to me that I rarely eat it. But we will sow this out. I will run these seeds through the sieve that I have, and then I will let them dry. I will bring them in when they are on a piece of paper towel, just drying, and then we will sow them out. Then we will sow the passion fruit on the live stream. So for now, this comes to the side. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is like a nice taste. I can really see that doing very well, especially if you put it in a juice. But this is nothing that I don't think I've eaten these before in my life. I know the taste probably from different juice that you can buy where they just throw it in. But yeah, this is cool. I like that. I'm looking forward growing them. And when I have them, you know, when I can harvest them at the right time, then maybe I'm a little bit less hesitant, because this is pretty far along. This is really a little bit overripe already. Okay, so let me start with the seedlings, and I want to water this one here. The chili is drooping. It's really drooping. Chili hasn't gotten a lot of water since yesterday, and the soil is completely dry. So let me just get that thing here, and then I will start watering it. Just put it here. Okay, thanks for letting me know. I really have issues eating fruit because everything tastes so sour to me. I'm not sure why. It can't be normal. But when I eat fruit, I'm really having issues. Like, I don't know. Maybe my mouth is kind of unique. I've had a surgery and I can't really take sour. Maybe it has to do with that, you know, with the dental surgery. The way the nerves are. When I taste sour, it's really like I'm drawing myself back into my body. Okay. So I want to spray that thing. Shouldn't have waited so long to water it again. It just needed this. But yeah, this one was a little bit further away from the others. Sometimes you have plants that are located in a corner where you don't see them often, and that is just a bad thing. Let me see. Oh, that's great. I didn't know that they would survive longer, like perennials, right? Perennials is the English word. I didn't know that they could, like avocados is clear that's a tree, right? But yeah, some other stuff, I'm not sure. Like some of the stuff that we're growing right now, we will see if it will survive long term after the first year. I'm not that experienced with most of them. We will just grow them and find out what happens, you know. So yeah, just spraying that a little again, because that was so dehydrated. This will need time. This will need 2 hours until it's taken in all the water that it really needs. Thank you. We will try it out. I'm looking forward to that. I want to just try sowing out random plants on the live stream, and it's interesting, you know, just to see what happens. Right now we're growing that pumpkin, and I have the pumpkin right beside me. That thing has grown. Let me show you the pumpkin. That thing looks wild. Okay. Here's the box again. We're just trying to get it on the desk. So, and I have them in there so they can germinate in peace without being, like, you know, half eaten by some sort of a fungus gnat. Always try to keep that thing closed. Yeah, and here's the pumpkin. What a pretty tall seedling already. And this is already coming out. So I'm looking forward to repotting that with the new pots that I ordered. They should be here within the week. Like within 1 week. I don't think they will make it this week, but yeah. This probably needs a pretty big pot. Also going to be, I expect some sort of a vine, some sort of a thing that creeps around on the soil. Pretty low. I remember that my parents once grew pumpkin, and it grew all over the compost bin area for many years. Okay, so yeah, this will be nice. We will repot that very soon. The moment I have the new pots, we will repot. Okay, yeah, let's get started with the watering. Here's a container with a few of the smaller, genetically weaker seedlings. But right now, a lot of them are still there and they're growing. So I will be watering them. Watering so much that I can also move a few seedlings back and forth. Just because I want to give them a fair chance. I want to have them in the soil in a good way. And sometimes you need to correct a little, moving seedlings back and forth until they have found a good place where they really have a good connection to the soil. And that is a lot that I do when I'm watering usually, because it's the safest to do when you're watering. At that time, you can just push the seedlings into the soil. Okay, so here's a seedling on the side that I need to take out. It's just the skin left. And if you leave that on the soil, you can contaminate the whole soil. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Actually, it would be great if that pumpkin thing would be totally a monster, you know? If that thing would grow completely out of control. I mean, I have it in the house. I will make sure it can't escape, but it would be funny. Would be funny to see, and I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, would be hard to grow that inside the house. We will see. If it's getting too difficult, I might have to build a bigger enclosure for it. Maybe a box that it can't randomly distribute seeds and that kind of stuff, you know? Okay. Yeah, a little bit more water here. Let me see. Yeah, some of the seedlings here are way too small for their age. They should be much bigger. And you can see that with that one seedling that has like twice or thrice the size of the other seedlings. The weaker seedlings, sometimes it can make sense to wait for them, and they will get as much time as they can survive on their own root. If they eventually expire, then that's okay. They are just, sometimes you have these weak plants, and it makes sense to sort out early. I rarely drink any kind of alcohol. It's just something that I don't like. When I drink, I usually get tired and want to go to sleep right away. So I rarely drink. Every now and then, like if I'm in company, and if the moment requires it, then I would drink a beer, something like that, But I'm not really drinking a lot. The last time I drank alcohol, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago. I don't know. It's nothing that I enjoy, because I always get tired, and yeah. I always like to be somewhat in control, and with that always gets more difficult. Like in my family, like when I grew up, when I was a teenager, when I was a child, I've seen how alcohol really caused problems in the family, really bad ones, and yeah, that's why I always kind of never got into it. Yeah. But I'm the type of person, I don't want to say, like, if there's a nice something important to celebrate, then I could see myself totally out of control. I'm not like that. It's just not that. Something, we all have our own routines, what we do after work to kind of relax, and it wouldn't fit into that already. I love to drink tea. Like every evening when I take off for the rest of the day, I just sit there and drink tea, and yeah, I would really have to combine it, and I would instantly sleep. I would be like, so okay. Yeah, these need water, spraying them a little bit. Yeah, I like green tea. I like green tea, white tea, just the classic stuff. And all kind of winter stuff, like when sometimes in winter they're putting out some really good blends. I like that when it's cold outside, nice winter tea in the evening. That is great. That's something nice, that's how I can relax sometimes. So okay, so this is okay. A lot of seedlings too small, like we discussed. But yeah, for now, that one seedling is our hope. And even if all of the others don't make it, this one is already good enough. Yeah. I always start the day drinking tea, and I'm not like a Brit, like the British drink tea, like this with style. I don't have that. I just sit there, watching television, and yeah, doing it like, I don't know. So okay, yeah, I noticed that these fell over, these two guys here. We need to fix that. If they lie too long on the soil, that's bad for them. Eventually they will expire. Eventually we would lose them, and that would be bad. So I would spray them now. And apart from that, the seedlings look pretty all right. I'm happy in this container. Seedlings have a decent green color. It's okay. No, I'm not seeing these huge issues with the roots. So Just fixing the seedlings that have fallen over, and then I hope everything works. These have been repotted, and that means you sometimes have to correct them. No, you're not distracting. I like to have the live stream always go in different directions. I like that kind of stuff. It keeps everything fresh. I don't like when every live stream is the same. So when people ask questions, I'm always happy about that. So no worries. I catapulted the seedlings from the desk. So let me just... I shot away the seedlings. We will have to report these later, but for now, I think I found them all. Oh, here's another one. Okay. So a little bit more water here. And then I will correct the position of the seedlings in the soil. Just lifting them up a little bit. And these two are together, so that explains that they have fallen over. I really don't like that. And here's a third seedling that showed up that wasn't even visible. I will remove that because this doesn't have any kind of long-term chance to survive. So yeah, taking these two apart makes it easier to get them in the soil. And if one of them falls over, the other one doesn't fall also, you know. So, and this seedling here has issues with the roots. This looks like mealy. No, not mealybug. Fungus gnat. Kind of fungus gnat damage that they sometimes cause. Could also be damping off, but if I would have to guess, I would guess it's fungus gnats. In the future, we might actually use a topping layer here inside with the seedlings just to cover the top layer and make it a little bit harder for the fungus gnats to thrive. That will make it harder for me to judge if soil is completely dry. But you have to choose your way. You have to choose your strategy and stick to it, and that's what I will do. So covering the top layer a little bit. The containers that had a top layer, like that little tiny top layer, have done better. They look much better. So later today I will bring in a little bit of the washed pumice just so we can sprinkle it on top. And when we do that, it should also not become too much of an issue. Like when you have a full pot with pumice, that stuff always comes out at the bottom, always causes a huge mess when you're working with it. But if you just use it as a nice little topping layer, it shouldn't be that big of an issue. Okay. So, the other seedlings look good. In general, this is one of the good containers where I feel like the seedlings look okay. They're growing, they're green. Not seeing huge issues with the soil. I had repotted them just recently. And yeah, for now they look good. Trying to correct the position, trying to keep them straight upward so they don't get in contact with too much soil. It can be negative if the seedling is surrounded by soil that's pressing against it. So I'm compressing the soil a little bit all around the seedlings just to get the soil a little bit below the seedling, below the height of the seedling. Over time, when you're watering, the soil will eventually sink in. But until that happens, you can really help by already compacting the soil a little bit when it's necessary. It also makes a huge difference if the seedlings are firmly in the ground. Okay. So let me see. Lobivia winteriana is that. So these are the seedlings, Lobivia winteriana. We've had that species like yesterday or a couple of days ago where someone asked what like this, how the seedlings look, how the skin looks, something like that, had some sort of a core structure. This is how the very young seedlings look like. Can't really see anything, like it looks like a grayish green, kind of blunt kind of skin, blunt kind of green tone. But yeah, apart from that, they look normal, like the other seedlings too, not too far off. Today I want to also repot a few seedlings again. In every live stream I try to repot a little, and today we will do that too. For now I want to water these. These are one of the containers that need the most water right now. Those have been pretty dehydrated, and I've been watering them in almost every live stream since I noticed that. What's that? Oh, I just thought that there would be a slug. I just thought that there's a slug on the seedlings, but this is actually from the passion fruit. This is one of those seeds from the passion fruit. Yeah, there are some pots in my greenhouse, like sometimes when you get a plant from a different grower, like when you get a plant on eBay, sometimes you have weird plants coming out, and you really sometimes have to be careful, because I had once or twice when I had like kind of invasive plants come out of the pots, you know. I once had this weird euphorbia, like some sort of a weird euphorbia species coming out in the garden, out of a pot, really, during repotting. And yeah, since that happened, I always have a critical eye on whatever comes out of the pot that doesn't belong there. And like when I was just in the greenhouse, I noticed that there's one pot that every year grows something like onions, you know, like that kind of, also, you know, that these thickish greenish kind of leaves that look a little bit like grass, but it's actually something firmer. So yeah, I saw that is coming out in one of my pots too. And I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I have an eye on it because, you know, it might be toxic, like the plant itself. Okay, yeah, want to water them again here. These have been really dehydrated. This is the type of stuff where I'm really making sure that when I'm watering it, I water enough that that the seedlings can take it in over the next hour or two. Can really make a difference if they are really dehydrated. If the plants are in great shape, it's not so important, but in this case here, it matters twice. Okay, so in this container, this is one where I've moved seedlings into new soil. And when I do that, there's always something you have to correct afterwards. And that's what we will do today. Just fixing everything, moving a few seedlings here and there. I would spray them now, just to get the soil to a point where I can just move the seedlings. I might have to take out one or two of the seedlings. I'm not sure yet. That will depend on how the root section will look. I really want to look more closely in this container. They are already looking a little bit weakish. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there are some of them that are either crooked or just not looking so good. So I want to look into that. I pushed the little seedlings that are somewhat crooked. I push them a little deeper into the soil. You can achieve that. Sometimes you can push on top of the little seedling, like giving it a little gentle press on the tip, and that can push it a little deeper into the soil. Yeah. And most of the seedlings in this container could be a little deeper. So that's what I will do now. Try just to really get all the seedlings firmly into the soil. Makes a big difference when they are dehydrated. Here's one very dehydrated seedling, but for now it still has a chance. But while I was inspecting, I noticed that the soil was still dry here, and I've sprayed that a few times. So when you're watering soil that has dried out, make sure to really invest time to get it, have an even distribution of the water. Sometimes when soil dries out, it has different thickness in different areas, and that leads to certain parts being bone dry and others still being wet. So keep an eye out for that, because it's bad for the seedlings. You can lose seedlings to rot and some to dehydration in the same container then. Okay, here's a seedling that has a destroyed root. I would take that out because it does not have a chance. No long-term chance. Apart from that, I'm happy here. Like, the one big thing that I can say now is that it looks better than before, and that is always important. Like when you pick a container and you want to do something, just make sure it's not looking worse than before you picked it up. These here I repotted recently, and I'm happy with them. Looks pretty good. They're growing, not seeing huge issues with the soil, with the root section of the seedling. So I would just spray that now. Yeah, let me see it. Let me have a look at the label. Yeah, Uwe Kahler hybrid from 2024. So I'm spraying the seedlings a little bit. And the soil was very dry. Soil was bone dry in that thing. Yeah, and that's good. I mean, in this case, when the soil, this is just a new soil where I repotted into new soil just recently. And yeah, that is you can really see that the seedlings have everything that they need, just growing healthily. Good to see, because there were some where that wasn't the case. Doesn't always work like that. You always have the other containers where there are issues. You have that too. So let me see what that is again. Oh yeah, this is the same one. Okay. Next one. These also need water. Have been repotted just recently. They haven't fully settled in yet. The soil still needs to compact. When you have moved seedlings from one pot into another, the soil takes a while to really settle down, to really to not be so puffy all around the seedlings. That is something that I personally really don't like, because once you have seedlings that are already surrounded by soil, it doesn't take long until they become dirt, until you lose them. So I always try, when I repot seedlings, I try to get that soil to settle down fast. You can do that. You can already achieve that by making sure it's very compressed before you even put the seedlings in. But also like that top layer where the seedlings are planted in, by watering that, you help the seedlings to have a little advantage over that, like to be above that level. I'm also taking out wood Taking bigger pieces that are lying around on the top layer of soil, I don't like that. Yeah, and this is sowing soil, classic sowing soil that you get in every garden store. And I like that because it's, for one, it gives the seedlings enough humidity, gives them enough water, but it also dries out fast. If you need that soil to be dry, it is dry within a few hours. How prickly are they at the seedling stage? Not very much. They are like, at this point, the spines are there. You can feel them. You can touch them when you go over them. And sometimes you can even catch one that it gets stuck in the skin, but it's barely noticeable. At least to me. The more you do it, the more it hardens you up. In the beginning, I was really worried about getting cactus stings and that kind of stuff, you know. When you are handling plants, when you're repotting, you always catch a spine here and there. And yeah, but at that age, it's not a huge issue yet. Later on, it can become one, but not at that age. There are species later on that are really painful to repot, like Störensia candicans, for example. There are some hybrids with it. It's a plant that really, where you have to have respect, where you have to handle it with great care. Sometimes there are spines at the bottom when you try to get below the plant, to repot it, to get to the root section. Sometimes you can really catch a spine there. Yeah, I don't think that there are any toxic, like, or, you know, that there's any problem with that, but there's just dirt everywhere. And every time you catch a cactus spine, you also catch a little bit of dirt here and there. And it can get easily infected, especially if the spine still stays in. So I usually try, when I catch a spine, I usually try to get it out. Get it out as fast as possible. And that usually, that has kept everything from being too bad. If you have a cactus spine somewhere, a bigger one, and yeah, as long as the spine is in there, there can be huge issues. Eventually, the spine might even be, you know, encapsulated a little bit. But usually, as long as the spine is in, it really hurts. So I try to get it out right away. With these kind of plants, not a problem. Compared to later on, this is great. You get so used to it. Eventually, like cactus breeders, the kind of hands they have, it's pretty bad. Like during summer, during repotting, I have pretty bad hands. It's just normal. Even the good kind of gloves, you kind of catch a spine here and there. Okay, so yeah, I want to spray them again a little bit more. Just giving them water, letting everything soak, and then I will move a few seedlings here and there again. Once you water, things will change again. That doesn't matter. You are never 100% done with seedlings. There's always something to do. There's always something to repot. So we just take every pot at a time, look into the pot and decide what they need. And usually they need to be a little corrected, a little bit moved into the soil, that they get enough, that they can take in the water. Yeah. So it never ends. Okay. Here's a seedling that needed to be deeper, that needed to be more pushed into the soil. And it's still not perfect, so I'm watering again. You probably mean cholla, right? Cholla. These, like, think the botanical name something like Austrocylindropuntia or Cylindropuntia, something like that. Yeah, they are pretty bad. Pretty bad plants. I'm glad that we don't have them here. Because if we would have them, I'm sure my garden would be full of them and it would be impossible to get them out again. They are really hard to repot. Kind of different kind of spine that that really gets stuck in the soil, but really like a barbed hook. Really painful. Okay. Yeah, and they are beautiful. They're really nice, beautiful plants. You know, if you see them just when they are flowering, for example, they are very beautiful. Yeah, everyone who ever had to handle one sees it differently. Everyone who has ever kind of repotted one of them, not comfortable. Really a hard to repot plant. Yeah, I've seen it, and all the memes, they are usually about that plant. And the crazy thing is, I once tried to plant one of them. Like maybe 10, 15 years ago, maybe, I tried to plant one of them in my garden. And I'm so glad that it failed, you know. At the time, that wasn't really, I didn't know how big they can become, how much of an issue they can be in other countries, you know. So I felt like maybe it would be great to plant out a few frost hardy cacti. Yeah, and I tried it, and eventually it failed. And I'm glad, because once you have them, it might not be possible to fully control them. The bigger they get, the more difficult it gets. Okay, so this is the result here, by the way. Check it out. This is good. I'm okay with it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing I do on this live stream will be perfect. I hate that, you know, because I always in the past, I always wanted to do stuff, you know, and there's never really that perfect thing, that perfect moment. Everything kind of like when that perfection stands in the way, you know, like when you're trying to do everything perfectly, and it just keeps you from getting better at it, from just doing something and then going from there and learning. So yeah, try not to do that anymore. I think Australia doesn't have them. At least as far as I know, they don't have them. But I've seen them in the United States. Sometimes these, you know, I don't know, Arizona. I'm not sure at which state they are, but you often see them in these kind of desert landscapes. Okay, so in this one, I also need to correct again. I've seen that this is just not looking perfect the way I want it. So I would spray that again a little bit and just move a few more seedlings around. This is just not looking perfect. It's just not enough. I want them to at least be straight. You know, and when I say perfect, I really have, they don't have to do much. They just have to be somewhat straight in the soil. It's not too much to ask from a cactus seedling. Come on. My neighbor is using some sort of a weed whacker in front of my window. I don't know what it is. In the last 2 weeks, my neighbors have been all over me, all over the garden, everywhere. Even Mika and Kami were like, suddenly they were seeing the neighbors that they haven't, like, they had kind of cut back some of the brushes a few months ago, and now they are seeing the neighbors, and it's a totally different experience for them, you know. Okay. Yeah, this is better. Okay, so this one, this is one of the containers where we might take them apart. But I have seen another one that I want to do even more, and I want to do that one right away. Let's do this one. I feel like this looks a little messy, and I really don't like that. So yeah, let's do that. I brought me gloves again. Want to get? Oh, by the way, yesterday I caught a cactus spine here, straight below the nail, and it was a real issue, like getting it out. Being a cactus breeder, that's the life. Like everyone who wants to get into cactus breeding, please reconsider. Do yourself a favor and for your fingers, like for the sake of your fingers. It's not something that you will eventually. You don't have these perfect hands anymore. It's nothing for hand models, people who really want to have perfect hands. I'm already dreading the repotting now, like of the bigger ones, the spiny ones. That's going to be really. It's always a little bit more. You need to be careful, and I'm already dreading it. Okay, so here's soil. Brought new soil, and this is the last of the sowing soil. Some of the last. Luckily, I have ordered new ones. Really looking forward to having new sowing soil. Like sometimes that kind of stuff's so simple. But it makes me happy that I can, at every time when I'm doing a live stream, that I can sow out whatever I want. Okay, yeah, no problem. Someone in the comments said they have headphones on. So yeah, I mean the neighbor, he's gone again. This is just normal. Like they are working all around my place here. Yeah, you have to have, like, when you have people that are kind of crossing you all the time, you have to have a lot of patience, a lot of tolerance. And the older I got, the more I realize how hard that actually is. You know, like having, like, just an example, the neighbors, they have kids, you know, and now the kids have an age where they are starting to play in my garden sometimes. And yeah, you always have to kind of, like, when I was a kid, I was playing in the garden too, you know. You always have to remind yourself that that it was the same when you were young, you know. So I kind of, it takes constant effort not to become too grumpy. At least for me, I'm constantly trying not to become too grumpy. I don't want to be one of those people that goes to the kids and says, "Hey guys, please tone it down a little." But yeah, when you're getting older. So, okay, I will move these into the new pot, into the new soil. Maybe new. We will see how many of them how many of them we will put into one pot. Maybe we will split it up over 2 containers, and that will give them a little bit more space. And I can already tell you that when we're doing that now, some of them we will find some problems here and there, because this is the type of stuff that you where you have too crowded seedlings. You know, this is too crowded, and it has a price, and I'm sure we will find some of those. Yeah, it's not like all that gardening stuff. It's just a little bit more dangerous, you know. It's safer to not do anything, to be in the house. But unfortunately, you can't live like that when you're out a little bit, like off grid, a little bit more nature around. You just can't say I don't do it. The neighbor has just had issues when he when he was taking down some sort of a robinia, like also a few months ago. A robinia, pseudo-acacia, these are these invasive weed trees, a little bit like acacia. Yeah, and they have spines. They also have long spines. And he had issues with one of them, had to go to the hospital because he caught one like near the eye. So yeah. And usually like when I catch a spine, it's very often from these robinia trees. Most of the times with the cacti, I know how to handle them. But these other trees, they are pretty spiny too. Or when I'm moving blackberries, that kind of stuff. These are usually much worse than the cacti, in my opinion. You don't have to handle the cacti the same way you sometimes have to handle a weed. Okay. Yeah, and I'm taking apart these little clusters of seedlings. Yeah. So far, it hasn't happened yet. I just try to, like Mika, like the dog that I have, she's from like animal protection, some sort of an animal organization. And she's always scared, She's easy to scare, and I always take care that everything that she's not freaking out when suddenly someone's in the garden, and that has happened over the weekend, So that's why I try to be a little bit, I don't know, to keep an eye on it. We will see. If they play in the garden, it's not too bad. I just don't want them to kind of scare Mika and Kami. Over the weekend, they didn't want to come out. They were just inside because they saw someone was walking around near the garden, and they were instantly a little bit freaked out. In the beginning, when we took in Mika, the first year, she was incredibly scared. I had to walk very carefully in the house. Every movement, like doing something, I always had to be careful not to scare her. Yeah, sure. Like someone asked if I would be interested in water plants like lotus, water lily. Yeah, sure. I'm currently restoring our old garden pond. Yeah, restoring the garden pond, and maybe we will plant some of those. And there are already some sort of water plants in it, that kind of stuff, I would see what we can save. Might need a lot of work, but I'm interested in that. Could be great, could look amazing. Thank you. I'm currently trying to find the hole in the pond. Somewhere there's a hole and I haven't found it yet, but I'm currently working on it, like this week, trying to find that. And the moment I found it, I would try to bring in new plants, cool plants, and that kind of stuff. I'm looking forward to that. That pond is very important for the animals of the forest. Every night there are animals drinking out of it, so I try to keep it clean, to keep it healthy. Yeah, blackberries are totally out of control. Hey, and I just want to say hello to the other one who just commented. Great to see you. Great to have you. Yeah, I have a dog and a cat. I have a dog named Mika and a cat named Kami. And Kami is getting 17 in April. She's very old, needs a lot of care. Spend a lot of time with both of them. And also with Kami, taking walks. She's not roaming freely, but I'm taking walks every day with her. And the dog, yeah, having a great time. Trying my best to give the dog a good time. I love animals. Kind of like, if I ever make more money, I will do more animal protection stuff. I'm really into that. Before Mika, we had a beagle, and yeah, there's a lot of good that you can do there in that kind of in that kind of world. And I might actually bring more of that into the channel too, just showing what I do. Okay, think we have them all. And these are from a hybrid cross between what? Let me see. Kutampo crossed with Kinky. I will need to write a label for the other ones. Yeah, she has really been through a lot. Like the dog that I got, she had a bad life, and now she's incredibly, yeah. I mean, now she trusts me, and it took very long to gain her trust, to earn her trust. And yeah, in the beginning, I had to, me being a man, she was just scared of men. I don't know, you know. I just know that every time I moved too fast, she was scared. And that took years. That took really 1.5 years until she now finally trusts me. But yeah, she's still scared of other stuff, and I'm really trying my best to carefully, you know, to give her time. She can do everything at her own pace, but I really want her to go out of her shell a little bit. Yeah. Every day, like there are good days and bad days, but right now in the last year we had more good than bad days. Really, I'm very happy about that. Okay, so I moved the seedlings here, and I just want to spray them now. Just cleaning them a little that I can start moving them in the soil. I also ordered new labels for the live stream, for sowing out, for repotting. And I bought 400. Not many, but at least a few. That will get us half through half the season, maybe. Okay. Yeah, now I just use my little tweezers here to create a little hole for the seedling and move and push the root section in there. And then I give it a gentle push at the top, pushing it into the soil. Always careful that I don't injure the little root. A little bit more water. Okay. The seedlings here, they look pretty good. They are like in regards to the growth, they are healthy. Now that they're in the new soil, these could be really turning out nicely within the next couple of months. These are the kind of situations when repotting really pays off. Repotting early. I mean, repotting is always part of having plants. But when you repot these little seedlings here, they really respond well sometimes. Okay. Here's a big piece of wood, and this is a good example why I hate that. Check it out. This seedling has grown into the wood, and now when you rip too fast, when you rip too strongly, you will rip the root right off with the piece of wood. That is really that's really bad, because I'm at this point I can't get it off. Sometimes they really grow into the wood. So I need to leave it here now, put it on top of the soil here, and it will always be a little bit annoying. It's not that huge issue, but it can be the cause, the root for infections, for little kind of, you know. You see. Good. Can be the beginning of a huge problem. Here's a seedling that I want to take out. Sometimes you find seedlings where you didn't even know that they were there before. Like these little tiny poorly developed seedlings like the one that I just took out. Okay, a little bit more water. Okay. And I'm really taking time for every seedling. Because if you don't have them in the soil the right way, they might not make it. That might be the end for that one seedling. And yeah, so it really matters that you're doing it right. Oh, come on. Okay. What's that? It's a tiny seedling. I will put that to the outer area of the pot. For one, that I see it, that I see that it's there and that it's not contaminating something in case it suddenly starts to fail. Here was a little seedling that I took out that was also not healthy. It had, like, compared to the other seedlings, it was like 1/5 of the size. And that is usually a sign something wasn't okay. Sometimes they lose the root, or maybe they are just poorly developed, disadvantaged. Okay. In this container, I almost have them in. Just a few more. And then I will spray them again to make sure that the seedlings are clean. Here's a little seedling that doesn't have a root, but it looks like it has grown for a while. It's not impossible for them to that they can root again. Like if something has happened to the original root, they can sometimes, once they have reached a certain size, they can sometimes grow a new one. But very often in the beginning, they just don't have that much substance to survive that. We will see. It always takes a while until seedlings have new roots. And if a very young seedling suddenly doesn't get nutrients or water for 2 or 3 months, that can already be the end. Usually it is. The younger they are, the more true that is. The bigger the seedling, they sometimes have enough resources to compensate for that time it takes to grow a new root. Okay. Yeah. For now, this is okay. These will go straight under the lamp, really directly below it. I want to have that soil dry out now, and I want it dry out once that I can start watering again. That the whole seedlings get a little bit better structure, a little bit more stability in the soil. Okay, these here also I want to spray them. How long do they take to grow from beginning to end? Yeah, the seedlings that I now have on the live stream, like these here, they are roughly 2 or 3 months old now. And you can grow them if you just want to grow them on their own root and not graft, not speed things up. Then they would take maybe 5 to 7, 8 years to fully to flower. Until they're mature, they flower. Most of them, like if you would really really push, try to graft the seedlings early on. Then you could get them to flower within 3 to 6 years, 6-7 years maybe. But yeah, that's roughly the time it takes. And the columnar cacti, the bigger ones that like in habitat, they grow as tall as a house sometimes. So these seedlings might take a little longer. Sometimes, like in nature, there are botanical species that take until 25 years until they flower. And I've seen that. Like sometimes when you're growing botanical species from seeds, some of them take a little longer. I have like Sörensia strigosa. I have plants of that. They should have been flowering for 10 years and they haven't. I'm sorry to hear. I have that like with some of my. I recently got a new mobile phone plan, and the reception's so bad. Happens a lot right now. A lot of these companies are selling contracts and can't really guarantee that you also have reception. Okay, yeah, I'm moving the seedlings here into the soil now. This is the second container, same seedlings. Just trying to be a little bit more careful not to pierce the seedlings. It happens so easily. A little bit more water. Okay. So I'm pushing the seedlings into the soil, and there are some that I really need to take apart. When you see that the seedlings are not looking well and they are stuck together, then I usually take them apart. If two seedlings look dehydrated and are stuck together, maybe taking them apart, potting them separately can improve their situation. Yeah, thank you. I'm trying this year. We will see. This year we will push it this year. I'm looking forward to the season. Doing my best to have a great, amazing cactus season this year. I'm also looking at a GoPro right now. Maybe I can film it maybe I can film by just attaching the camera to my head and just walk around and do the gardening. I'm currently thinking about doing that too this year. Will be a great year. I'm looking forward to that. Finally being able to have a new cactus season, you know? Okay. So there are also many cacti where you can really have better results working with a mineral medium. But we will try without this year. We'll see where it leads us. I will try to have the seedlings in a relatively organic soil in here. That that doesn't mean that there won't be situations where we might not be using a mineral medium to play around with a little bit. But most of the stuff here, trying to have it a little bit more organically grown. And I mean just the medium. Might be putting together a compost bin though this year, like for the first time ever. Like a real one. Maybe we're building one. Okay. good. So let's write the label. Can't wait until the new labels are here. And I can't tell you why, but the labels that I got here, they make it so hard to write on them. They have some sort of a protective layer that makes it so hard to write on them. And when I was buying the labels, when I was buying the new plant labels, it was so hard to not accidentally get the same kind of quality again. There were like 20 different sellers, and they were all pushing the same kind of product from overseas, you know, Alibaba product, something like that, you know. And it took me real work to find the good labels, the ones where you can still write on. Little bigger. For the future, I want to have bigger labels because it's harder to lose them. Smaller the label, the easier you lose it in the pot. You can even lose it in the pot when you kind of look into the wrong corner of the pot. You don't even see it in there. So KA2395 is the number of the seedlings here. Kutampo. Crossed with Kinky. I think Kinky was some sort of a Gräser hybrid, Gräser follow-up hybrid. I've seen that one. And that one has a nice big flower, really good. Yeah, it's really hard to find something where you like that really lasts, you know? The labels that you can really put into the pot, and 3 or 4 years later you can still read the label. It's really hard to have something like that. And with these here, like these smaller ones, the writing already came off after maybe 6 months. That's just bad. Why are they doing that? You know, maybe they are made to print. I don't know, because writing on them, and you could maybe use a text marker, some sort of a fine liner, but that kind of a pen, that kind of ink often dissolves when you're using a fertilizer or when you're using a pesticide. So yeah, if you can't really write on that thing with a pencil, what is it good for if it's a plant label, you know? Okay, and I was so disappointed to see how many different sellers were selling the same kind of bad product. Okay, so these here need water, and that seedling here that just fell out, we will have to put that back in. And yeah, so I want to spray the water. I want to water that thing, get the soil to a point where I can just hammer that seedling into the soil. Where is it now? It's okay here. Yeah, I would spray that until the soil is flexible enough that I can push that seedling back in. And it will take a while. Here are more seedlings that I overlooked earlier. These are just everywhere. Yeah, it's really not easy. There are people that write on their plants with an edding, you know, like with a thick edding, thick text marker kind of thing. And honestly, it's not one of the worst ways to label something. Okay. Yeah, for one, I want to get that one seedling here deeper into the soil. It protects the base, the really sensitive kind of base. Here's that seedling that came out. It has a little root, but of course it's dehydrated when it wasn't really in the soil. So I tried to get that back in, and this time I really want to have it deep in the soil. spraying it a little. Yeah, and that's okay now. Need to spray them a few more times to make sure that they have enough time, that they can take in the water. This will dry very fast, so sometimes good to really have that container very thoroughly watered. Okay, next ones. This one I wanted to fix here. 2 more seedlings that I found. Okay. These here are also among the ones where I feel like we could take them apart now. Could split them up into 2. But yeah, let me see. Here's another one that really needs to be taken apart, right? Should probably do this one. Yeah. Okay. I really don't like spending so much time with one container, but we have to do it. When we have so many seedlings, eventually the space will run out. No. Okay. So I try to split this up over 2 containers. Yeah, thank you. That's what I will do with the passion fruit. That's exactly what I will do. I will try to put it in a sieve. I have these fine sieves that I use for cleaning cactus fruit, cleaning cactus seeds, and I will run that through there. And then we will have the seed there next time. I really tried to do that today. Maybe I will film it. Okay. So first, before I take these out of the pot, I want to spray them. For one, it means that I'm not sitting in a cloud of soil when I take them apart. The water keeps everything a little bit pinned down, keeps all the dust from being in the air, and also it allows me to take them apart a little bit more carefully without damaging the root. Thank you. In one of the next live streams, we will sort them out. This will be cool. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so yeah, I will move the seedlings here out of this big pot full of seedlings. I don't know how many these are, but it's too many. So for one, I want to try to get to the label. Then we can have a look and decide what to do. This is something unique. Then we might have to keep them. If not, maybe we will graft on some of them. But they have good, healthy roots. That is something that stands out here. There are too many seedlings, but they are still healthy inside. Yeah, my mom has been supporting the live stream tremendously recently. She believes in me, and I'm proud. Many years I didn't know what to do with my life, where I just felt, I feel like I have a job to do. Found my calling a little bit. I've talked about that a few times. I just feel like I really enjoy what I do. People like the stuff that I do. It's a great privilege, and yeah, my family sees that, and they are proud. Yeah, so there are a million seedlings into this pot. So we will see what we do here. How many pots we will need. Yeah, Yeah, my mom raised me mostly. My father was always gone. And I could always, I could always rely on both of them if I needed, if I needed something, I could always get it. But yeah, my mom was there all the time and tried to open a lot of doors for me in my life. And I'm just thankful that she's still here to see what I'm doing right now. Just thankful that she has gotten to see the kind of person that I've become, like as an adult, as just a character. Sometimes people succeed too late, like that their parents can't see it anymore. And my parents have already seen me do well. Like not financially, I'm not rich, but I have a lot of people that appreciate what I do, and that is a good thing. That is a great thing. I'm proud of that, and they are proud of that, seeing that. Yeah. I hope that eventually I can make life easier for them too. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So yeah, I will fill these 2 pots with the seedlings here. Then we will decide what we do. Maybe by that time we have found the label. But I believe I have started on the wrong corner. Like, I'm not seeing a label on this side of the pot. Probably it's always on the other side. Like when I'm looking for the label, it's always on the side that I haven't looked at. Let me see. Can't see any label. I really hope there's one down there. Like I said, with these tiny labels, some of them have been disappearing in the pot. So when I'm done here, I will try to get the label out. I'm not doing anything without looking for the label. It's definitely possible that it's not in there, but it should be. It's just that these tiny labels, they're just good for nothing. They're really good for nothing. If I were like an ant breeder, maybe an ant breeder, if I would label one, if I would grow one single cactus seedling, then they would be good. But everything else, they are just too small. Okay. So I will try to get the soil out. I want to see if there's a label in there. So let me just move the seedlings out here, the remaining ones. I want to have them all out, and then I will start digging for that label. Okay, here's another seedling. I think we will end up with 3 pots from just that one container. And that's really bad. Oh, there's a label. Thank you. Jesus Christ. I was really worried. I was really worried because when you have so many seedlings and you don't have the label for them, that is a huge commitment of space later on without the label. Okay. So, and the label is Flying Dragon Cantora cross with Zizala. Interesting. Interesting. I've used up my pots, but I could use another one. No. I could really use use another pot here. Oh, come on. Let's see. No, I don't want to use those. I always make sure that the pots are clean. Sometimes you got to be careful with that. Okay, you know what? Let's put the soil in here. The old one gives me a chance to get new one into the old pot that we've been using here, and that gives us the third container for the remaining seedlings. Yeah, and then long term, we will have to decide what to do with them. This is a whole lot of seedlings for one cross. I'm not sure if I want to keep so many. Caesar La is a good parent, though. I mean, that is the issue with all these hybrids. Every seedling can look different, can have a different flower, can be unique in their own way. And you usually don't have the space to kind of grow them out, all of them, you know, like, or to wait until you have seen at least 10 of them flowering and keeping all the other seedlings. At some point, you will have to scale back, reduce some of them, and you need to do that before you know if they are good or not. That is difficult. Sometimes, and it just happens, like when you're growing stuff from seeds, you will sort out amazing stuff and only realize it later. And unfortunately, there's no way around it. You have to still do it, because otherwise you will run out of space within a year. Like what do you mean? The passion fruit. The passion fruit tasted like when you're drinking multivitamin kind of juice, you know, like that, just that mix of different fruit juice. That's how they tasted. These here, I have no idea how they taste. How the cactus seedlings taste. Okay. Yeah, let's move more of the seedlings here. And this is really too many. I will never sow out so many at once again. Next time I'm sowing out 20 seeds per container. And I'm not joking. I'm not even sure if the 3 pots that we now have are enough. This might actually be 4. But I don't think we will keep 4 of them. If we have, at this point, if we have more seedlings, we would sort them out or graft on them. If they are a little bit bigger, we can start doing micro grafting. Just for fun. But they are still not there yet. They are still maybe a couple of months away from that. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. Those passion fruit, I was surprised. It went bad. Was really decent. I just touched it with the tongue to get a feeling, but it was already pretty ripe. So I didn't really, I don't know, I didn't want to press my luck with that. Okay, yeah, now 3 containers here. I think this is enough. Don't have to overdo it, right? I can push a few seedlings here and there in between, but these flying dragon hybrids, I have a few myself. Maybe 5 different plants, and they are good. But I'm not sure if they are this good. That will depend on every single cross. So I would rather grow 10 of each, 10 of many different hybrids than 100 of just one. Later today I will clean it. Later today I will clean the passion fruit seeds, and then I will put it out on a paper towel, and maybe I can already bring it in tomorrow. Okay. So yeah, and tomorrow the live stream I will do book stuff for the first time in a while. I will bring in the book and I will sign a few and pack them. Got a few orders that I want to prepare, and I often do that on the live stream. Helps me to do some work, you know. This is really excessive. Is this really necessary? So many seedlings, man. Should not have sown out so many. Always better to still have the seeds available for sowing out compared to having a million seedlings. Okay. Yeah, and every now and then I feel with the tweezer thing here that I accidentally pierce a seedling here and there. You really have to be careful. Sometimes you accidentally get them at the base when you're trying to push the seedling into the soil. Sometimes you get them at the tip when you're trying to move them back and forth. So, and this can really be an instant end for the seedling. They are so close to the dirt that pathogens will be very close to the wound. There's always humidity. So really easier to not injure the seedlings. A little bit more water. Okay. So I'm trying to get them a little deeper into the soil than they were before. Because now that I took them apart, they might not have that stability in the base yet that they will get by just standing on their own root without getting support from left and right of the other seedlings. And that's why now I want to have them a little deeper in the soil. Not too much, just so much that they are solidly connected. And when the soil dries out, they still have connection to the soil. Just saw this and I didn't like it. This looks like a damaged base, damaged root system here. I think we need to take that one out. If I would put that thing in, it would eventually become infected. There's so many seedlings, so we can take out the weak ones, you know? Yeah, very often you can graft them together again if something happens. Bigger plants, not a problem. You know, you just press, like sometimes when you move a plant and something breaks apart, you can often wrap it together again. Sometimes with wire or with like that stuff that they make for mushroom growing that you can wrap around, you know, just to keep the humidity in and to keep everything together. And that will eventually heal again in some cases. If it's well done, it will heal. Had quite a few where that worked, where you can just, and it's the same with other plants. If something breaks, sometimes you can fix it by just putting it back in the original position, wrapping it. Sometimes with maybe with painter's tape, something like that, you know? Something that isn't, that you can get off again later, once everything has healed. Okay. Yeah, there are way too many seedlings here. Teflon tape, yeah, I have no experience with it, but I have a pretty good feeling what it is, you know? I've seen something like that before. Maybe even in like in a pharmacy, like to be sold as a wound cover, something like that. I think I've seen something like that before. And that can be great, but you don't need it. You could sometimes, if you just have nothing available, just wrap a plastic bag around it. Make sure it's clean. Make sure it's firmly together. It needs to grow together again, like when someone has broken an arm or a leg. You're kind of making a little cast, and sometimes it heals. I sometimes do that, like at the beginning of the season when I move a big plant or when something breaks, but I want that plant to flower. Then I sometimes attempt to fix it, just to push it together again, graft it together again, basically. Okay. Here's grass, by the way. And these seedlings here, this was never outside. Okay. And this is a very time-consuming thing. Fact that you just can't do it poorly. You have to really take care that you don't injure the seedlings, that they are solid in the soil. Because sometimes when you just put them in, and the moment you water, they fall over again. And that is exactly what isn't supposed to happen. Okay. Okay, this is the second container, and I'm so glad that that I'm almost done with these. I really don't like that. Like that, when you have one container with just one type, and you have so many that you have to sit there 1 hour, move seedlings around. I really don't like that. I like when I have 10 different containers with 10 seedlings each. You know, like that huge kind of variability that you can also get when you use your space wisely. And in the future we're doing more of that and less of that. Okay. So, and to the people who supported the books that I recently posted, today I will start packing. Today I will start booking the labels, the shipping labels, and yeah, I want to get them done within the week, like everything, like order for pickup, arrange a pickup, and all that. And yeah, there will be more updates soon. We will pack some of the books on the live stream, maybe tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not really, you know, let me say it like this. Nope, I would be happy to grow whatever we can safely grow on the live stream. You know, I don't want to get into a certain kind of category, you know, so I try to just, we are growing everything that's fun. And yeah, and everything that the platform is ready for, that is really ready for. And some plans we're not there yet, you know. Okay. I'm so happy when I'm done with these. I'm really so happy. This is the kind of stuff where I really have issues. Like with ADHD, whatever that is that I have, I really have issues doing something and sticking to that one thing. I get incredibly frustrated when something takes too long. And this takes long. Okay. I think I have all the seedlings in the soil now here. Okay, now I'm writing the label. And then in the next days, I will think about what we do with these seedlings here. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I know, I know. We could really, we would see what we do in the next years. You know, I'm open. Like when you have a big channel, maybe in a few years society is ready, but right now they aren't. Okay, let me spray some of the seedlings that I brought here. I actually wanted to repot a little more, but it's just the time isn't enough. We're already over a little bit, and I haven't even watered everything. So right now, the rest of the live stream, I will just do watering. Oh, by the way, we need to write the labels before I forget that. That was close. I almost forgot it. Need 2 more labels for these other 2 pots that I've just had here. Flying Dragon Cantora. Oh, come on. Flying Dragon Cantora 1433. Reinhard Liske 1433. Crossed with Zizala. Okay, second label. Flying Dragon Cantora 1433. Zizala. Okay, this label here, the number is KA23144. Hybrid by Walter Stocker is the mother, and I know those. They are pretty good. So KA2314. Okay. All right, and these go into the pots that I've just moved the seedlings. Here's one. Okay, and where's the other? Where's the third one? I've put it somewhere here. Let me see. This is how the mislabelings happen, how the labels disappear. Here's one label here. Okay, this one. I really want to take better care at not losing the labels. Okay, and this one here. Good. And all of those that we have reported, they will come under the lamp now. Okay. So let me just spray all the seedlings that need water now. I have a few here in front of me, everywhere around me. I brought so many plants again. And in some of them, we need to do something. In this one, for example, I want to move the seedlings. Some of them have fallen over. This is directly after repotting. And that is the time when you really need to correct them. In the new soil, they don't have that stability yet. And once you start watering, they just fall over. It will take a while until they have grown, really settled into the new soil. For now, this is okay. Yeah, but this is not good. Like when you have seedlings that have that tendency to fall, it's not a good sign. Could mean that there are more problems that are not visible directly right now. There must be a reason why they are so shaky on their own root. Okay, these here need water, and I've waited until they are dried out. Everything, I want everything to dry up in between. So these here, very genetically yellow, variegated seedlings, not really fun to look at, but for now they survive, and I will not sort them out, you know. I will give them a chance. Not looking perfect, but if eventually one plant manages to flower, one plant that survives, that's good enough for me. Okay. So I'm always watering them, like every time the water has dried up, then I try to water them again. There are a few exceptions where I feel like the seedlings just look like they might need to dry up a little longer. But in most cases, I really try to, the moment they are dry, I try to water again. They don't have that much time. They don't have that huge room where they have these big reserves that carry them over multiple weeks if you don't water them. And the longer you wait, like the more the soil dries out, the more bad it gets. Like even the pH level can get bad from just drying up too much. It makes certain nutrients unavailable. So I try to let the soil barely dry, and then right away I water again. Otherwise it will become too hard. This container, the seedlings, we will have to look into that. Feel like maybe we could repot them. One of the next live streams, I will put that aside for next time. These here need water. Also repotted recently, so one of them has fallen over, and I just want to get the soil wet to a point where I can put it back into the soil. Just shove it in. All those seedlings that have issues, I will pot them a little deeper. Here's a seedling that didn't make it, expired. I just take that out. Everything that is rotting in the soil is bad influence. Just contaminates the soil. Okay. Next one. Yeah, these need water. Yeah, take care. I'm almost done too. I'm just still watering. I would have been done maybe half an hour ago, but there's just too much watering to do. So let's speed things up a little. Large part of the daily work is watering. And I'm sure that the people who are watching my live streams have kind of gotten that by now. How big of an influence watering plays. So the next time we will replant these seedlings here, and it will not take long. I might actually record this as a video because they need to be repotted very soon, maybe today. So in case I feel like it's absolutely necessary, then I will do it later again, and we'll do it without the live stream, just filming it. Yeah. Sometimes you drop seedlings, and that's bad. Okay. Yeah, I think we're getting through here. I have done my daily duty, my daily watering duty that I just have to do to keep everything healthy. It's always important that I water the seedlings enough. Otherwise, they will start to slowly lose substance. And yeah, and that's like everything that isn't actual growth, even if they are not growing at all, like if they are kind of looking the same week after week, that's also bad. So really trying to give them as much water as they need. Okay. Yeah. So this was a great live stream. No, totally not. I appreciate it. I want that kind of stuff in my live stream. That is why I do that, you know, that interactive kind of thing. I could also do that, like for a while I did that in a kind of video. But I really enjoy being able to sometimes take the live stream into a new direction, saying something that is important, that needs to be said. I love that kind of stuff, and it is the reason why the live stream is always a little bit different, always a little unique. We can one moment be watering, and next time we talk about something like, I don't know. Okay, so this comes out. I will clean that up later. I will try to clean the passion fruit for next time. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And thanks again for having been here today. And everyone else also, you are great. You are greatly appreciated. It was great that you were here, that you spent a little time with me today again. I love that. And I will be back tomorrow. So thank you, guys. I hope you have a great day. It's not that long to the weekend anymore. Like we are halfway through. So I hope you have a great day, everyone. Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure doing it again. And yeah, talk soon. New updates coming soon. I'm working on a new video. Thank you.